Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yawashai, Ba'asham Racha Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere. This is your brother Abawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yawashai, Ba'asham Racha Kwadash. And with the recent events of Australia going completely cashless and more nations to follow, right? And you can clearly see that in this, you know, news feed, and you'll see it in other articles as well, that multiple nations have plans to go cashless by 2023 and 2030, 2025, 2000 and this, 2000 and that, right? Because the whole world is moving towards cashlessness. Okay, and as you should already know, and as has been established by the men of the Lord, nothing happens in the earth that does not have something to do with Bible prophecy. So you might ask yourself, why are brothers out there posting heavy on these different nations going cashless, these different nations adopting digital ID? Because while you are distracted by Diddy, right, by Drake and Kendrick, by that was really the two major things that happened in the past few months, and by other distractions, the regular bread and circuses that Isoidon plays. This is what was going on in the background, right? Sneak passing bills into Congress to make it more difficult to prophesy and read the scriptures. And in other parts of the world, the, we become, we draw closer and closer to a cashless society. Now, the question becomes, why is this cashless society so relevant to prophecy? Well, the answer really is that every move that Esau Edom makes is relevant to prophecy, because what they are doing is that they are moving towards the, and what, as they call it, the New World Order, the Great Reset. But really, what the scriptures call it is they are moving towards their enterprise and their evil devices, right? Their evil their evil devices towards the future and the kingdom they want to build for themselves, right? And this cashless society has, and it plays an important role in that, because what this cashless society does is that it brings you closer to, and this is the important part right here, the mark of the beast, or I should say the MOTB, because is, that's a no word to Esau Edom. Yeah, so the mark of the beast. And let's jump to that. So I'm going to get some precepts real quick, because we already know where the term comes from. Everybody knows about the MOTB. Everybody knows about 666. Everybody knows it, but nobody knows what it represents and why we say that the MOTB is what it is. So I shouldn't say nobody knows. Everybody knows at this point, because the breakdowns are out there, and even I've done multiple breakdowns on it. So let's go to the book of Revelation 13, verse 16, and he reads, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or in their foreheads." Right. So eventually you will have to, in order to use your newfound cashless system, right, your newfound cashless infrastructure that has been set up. Because look, think of how the think okay, now think I said think of how think of all the ways you pay for products cashlessly. You are doing wire transfers, that's your NFC. You just tap the back of your phone on a point of sale machine, right? And you pay. You have NFC wristbands. You do the same thing, tap the wristband at the point of sale, right? You use fingerprint verification. You use um your card, right? It's all a matter of, and it's all being done through a RFID, it's not an RFID, but yeah, it's all being done through an RFID microchip, which is a radio frequency, I believe it's identification chip, right? Semiconductor chip. It's in your ATM, it's in your phone, it's in the bands, it's in the wristband that they have in their in your on your hand as well. And now let me make it clear that I'm not saying that these things are the MOTB, okay? They are not, but rather what they are is the attempt to desensitize you to the idea of the MOTB. And you can understand what the MOTB is when we go to this word mark. Because if I remember correctly, the word mark there should be stigmata. I think so. So no, that's not stigmata. So like, yeah, I'm thinking of a different word. Charagma. That's the word I'm looking for. Charagma. Okay. So this is the word for mark in the Hebrew. In the Greek, so like, yeah, charagma. Charagma strong G5480. And this is a clue to make you understand what the MOTB actually is, because it tells you that it shall cause all men, small, great and poor, small and just great, small, poor, rich, free bond, to receive a mark in their right hand. It doesn't exactly have to be your right hand, but the vast majority of people, and this is something that you know people don't understand. Jacob needs pick every part of the scriptures. Oh, it says right hand here, but you can take it to your left hand as well. Where are the vast majority of people going to receive it? What hand does the vast majority of people use as their dominant hand, right? When we talk about the law of averages, is it not the majority that we follow, right? The majority that you follow whenever you are talking about any law, or, any averages or statistics or any form of statistics, right? Whenever you vote, do they have a consolation prize for those that didn't, for those that want part of the majority vote, right? So if the vast majority of people on this earth use their right hand, they will also take any, mark on that self same right hand, especially when you're talking about a mark that is, I will read on down to the significance of the mark, because now you have to ask yourself, okay, why are they taking that mark? What's it for? But we'll get to that part. But what I'm focusing on right now is this word charagma. And what the word is a stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand of as the badge of followers of Antichrist. And this is, of course, the blue letter definition, right? This is continuing. The mark branded upon horses, things carved, sculpture, graving work, right? This is the blue letter definition. So basically, the word mark is something that has been imprinted into the body, like, right? And people always say, oh, the MOTB is supposed to be a tattoo, which is actually funny because tattoos are actually done under the skin, right? The tattoos are the ink for the tattoos actually put under your skin, the same way the RFID implantable microchip is also put not just under under your skin, inside your right hand. And also you also have this neural link technology that will also be inside your head, right? So that fulfills the need, that fulfills that condition. That is something that is, it is an implantable device that is put in either your right hand or in your forehead. Because people will say, oh, it's a tattoo, but here is the part that really now narrows it down. And there is a reason why I said initially that most of your cashless payment methods are done with RFID, what do they call it again? Semiconductor chips. Now, Revelation 13, verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And that right there is what narrows it down. Now you're now in the kingdom, right? And this is a future prophecy, right? You will not be able to buy, you will not be able to sell except you have that mark. So without the MOTB, you're not able to do any transactions. And what this means is that, oh, they're not going to see, before you can buy or sell, right? You have to see that stamp, but rather the stamp will be the tool with which you buy or sell. And this is where the implantable RFID technology now comes in. And I did set all this just to show you, you know, the relevance of this cashless payment situation, right? Because all forms of cashless payment involve RFID technology, or NFC, which is near frequency communication technology. And RFID and NFC technology are only possible through chips, right? Semiconductor chips, to be precise. And those same semiconductor chips, right, are going to be implanted into you, put in your right hand or your left hand if you want, and your forehead. And let's not forget that it's not just going to be like, oh, they're just going to put only one chip. You have people that have five chips, 10 chips, one for each, three for each hand, right? And you already have people using this technology and being outfitted or implanted with this technology. And the main selling point of the RFID technology is that you are able to buy and sell effortlessly with the swipe of the wrist. And I think if I can go into the YouTube right now and show some videos of that, but let me not do that. And let me just get some articles going into that. But you should already, if you are watching this video, you've already seen all these things, right? But you know how Jake likes to do, they like to play dumb. So right, so let's just go and get that. So I want to see, here it is. This is a good one. That was just the third um search option. Okay, so here it is, the microchip implants that lets you pay with your hand. And this is the reason why you see so many countries going cashless, right? This is the reason why all these nations are looking to go cashless and looking to establish digital ID, because in order for you to go cashless, you have to have that digital ID. Right now in Nigeria, the country that I'm in, right, you already have a digital ID system, and that digital ID system is interconnected with the banks. You can't have a bank account and you can't use the bank services without digital ID, without various forms of identification. And that is just the gradual step, the gradualism towards the MOTB, right? You already had you already had basically a social experiment, because that's really what it was that happened early last year, where where they caused an artificial, cash. I want to say a cash. Basically, there was no cash that was being, and there was no cash being printed, no actual paper fiat currency being printed. So everybody was forced to start adapting the digital, cashless, cashless transactions more. So now, the way that people pay was through transfers, right? Through the use of POS and swiping of cards. And that is what Esau Edom is after. They want you to go into cashless payment. They want you rely on cash less and less. And the reason why is so that they can eventually push and then eventually mandate the MOTB. And you might ask, why is it that Esau Edom is going to do this? Well, the answer is simple, because it's to bring forth their new world order, right? The great reset, the what they call it, and then I think they call it like the fifth or fourth industrial revolution or something like that, where they can have more control over you, because that's really what this is all about. It's all about control. They control your transactions, and most importantly, they control the cash inflow and access to said cash. Okay, that's why you saw what happened with Kanye West. The banks decided that they weren't dealing with him anymore. Lost almost 1 point something billion just because he said some things about the small hearts. We're not going to go into that detail right now, because you know how Esau gets, right? The banks will have full control over your cash. That's why you're seeing different banks come out and just straight up be like, "Oh, we lost your money. Oopsie." Was it the Silicon Valley Bank that did something like that? JP Morgan and Chase, some people couldn't withdraw from their bank accounts, right? Because once you give up the money, your cash to the bank, you are basically giving them control over your cash. That's why you need, and here in Nigeria, we have something called NDIC, which is basically bank insurance. So if the bank ups and folds, right, you will be able to still access your money on paper. But I've never seen, but the banks have been more or less stable here in Nigeria. So I don't know whether that's applicable or not. And that's the idea. You are giving over control of your transactions, right, of the money you make to Esau Edom. Basically what that means is that that money is not yours anymore. You put the money in the bank, it's no longer your money, it's the bank's money. That is why your boy George Soros is infamous with the quote, "You will own nothing and you will be happy," because that's what Esau Edom is after. That's what the Great Reset, the NWO, is giving them ownership. And you see that in not just in banking and finance, it's in all aspects of life. That's why everything is going digital, right? You no longer own music anymore. You no longer own CDs and cassettes. You stream the music. You no longer watch movies anymore. You no longer own Blu-ray discs anymore. You stream the movies, right? Everything is digital now. You have to pay for a subscription just to keep accessing it. You will own nothing and you will be happy. It's even the same thing with video games. You no longer own CDs anymore. You download digitally and stream it. You will own nothing and be happy. And there was even a big case, right, where Esau Edom up and deleted a game from everybody's system because they unlisted the game. They no longer wanted anybody to play it. Did they refund anybody after they removed the game? Nope. But they could do that because you no longer own your products. You no longer own the services the products that you buy. You no longer own it anymore. And that's what Esau Edom is pushing for. It's pushing to make the world, to put the world in captivity, to turn the whole world into a wilderness. Well, yeah, without further ado, let me just read this a little bit just to show you what I'm talking about. You can use those C hips, right? The implantable RFID microchip to actually pay for products. The microchip that implants that lets you pay with your hand, and this is a going to a lot of things. Okay, but let me just get this. Patrick Poorman causes a stir whenever he pays for something in a shop or restaurant. This is because the 37-year-old doesn't need to use a bank or his mobile phone to pay. Instead, he simply places his left hand near the contactless card reader and the payment goes through. And you see what they did there, because they know that Revelation 13 verse 16 says right hand. So they now look for something that has the chip in the C hip in his left hand. But yeah, it doesn't have to be right hand or left hand. If you go to the book of, I believe that's either Revelation 14 or Revelation 16, it tells you that, different people who had it in different parts of their hands. It doesn't matter whether it's right or left. You say, "Oh, well, the scripture says it's right hand, so I put the CHP in my left hand, I can still be." No, that's not going to work. Okay. So let me see if I can get that precept. So, um, let's see. Ah, here it is. So this is the book of Revelation 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand," right? So it doesn't matter whether it's right or left. All that matters is whether you actually receive the mark, okay? Because you still have Jake that will say, "Oh well, it says right hand or forehead, so that means if I take the mark in another part of my body, I'm good, right?" Because now you'll be looking for a way to move the goalpost, right? You'll be looking for a loophole that you can use because, hey, we already know what is going to be happening during that time or when the MOTB is forcefully mandated, right? It literally says you will not be able to buy or sell. In other words, you won't be able to make transactions. You won't be able to be a part of this kingdom because that's really all that you see going on in this kingdom, buying and selling, right? That means you can't buy food. You can't get money to pay for the food. You can't even buy clothes or house or anything like that. And a lot of people, their faith will be tested in that day. That's why we call it the hour of temptation. That's why we call it Jacob's trouble, because there will be a lot of tribulation going on during that period. But yeah, I think I've already gotten this. Revelation 14, verse 9. So yeah, you can take it and you can receive it in any hand. Okay, so let's continue reading. So yeah, continuing on from the article, like I was, Patrick Poorman causes a stare whenever he pays for something in a shop or restaurant. This is because the 37-year-old doesn't need to use a bank card or his mobile phone to pay. Right, the different methods of cashless payment I keep on telling you about. Because in there are actually stores that straight up don't accept cash, and they've been told not to accept cash. Now, what's wrong with cash? It's pretty good money right there. You would think that all these predatory corporations that are drooling and frothing at the mouth whenever they see a single dollar on the floor, right, would be eager to take all forms of payment. But that's not the point, because it's not about the money, it's about the agenda. That's why they're not taking cash anymore. Straight up, you're either cash or other forms of payment. You'll see, if you go to these stores, right, these corporations, these organizations, they have every single form of payment in there. You want to pay with your vein, we can even run that for you. But cash is no, right? Every form of obscure payment that you see, oh, they have GPay, they have Amazon Wallet, they have, everything is there except for cash. And the reason why is because of this right here. This is what they want. This is what they really want. This is what they want everybody to be doing. Swiping with your hand, okay? Swiping with your hand, having that thing in you, that C hip in you, so that you can swipe with your hand. That's what they are really after. So let's continue reading. The reactions I get from cashiers are priceless, says Mr. Porben, a security guard from the Netherlands. He is able to pay using his hand because back in 2019, he had a contactless payment microchip injected under his skin. And it's mainly these European countries that always have people with people that are heavy, people that are sea hipped in them, especially places like Switzerland. I think there are like what thousands of people over there that are sea hipped, and I think the country is like 300 and something thousand living there, give or take. Well, let's continue reading. The procedure hurts as much as when someone pinches your skin, says Mr. Porman. And it's funny how these stores right now, I'm pretty sure that even in Babylon the Great, hell, even here in Nigeria, they probably already have the POS machines, right, that can actually take a C hip, you know, because I don't think that there's a special machine for a C hip as opposed to all the other forms of contactless payment. I think everything is all the same. Or you want to use this machine to take your card, you can use this machine to take your card. You can use this machine to swipe your hand and use the C hip, right? You can use this machine for NFC, Google Pay, all the forms of different payment methods that are out there, except for cash, of course. Once again, showing you the subtlety of Esau Edom, right? The craftiness of this devil. Yeah, let's continue reading. A microchip was first implanted into a human back in 1998, but it is only during the past decade that the technology has been available commercially. And when it comes to implantable payments, chief British Polish firm Walletmore says that last year it became the first company to offer them for sale. That's the point, basically. That's the way that it goes, because you have some of these other camps out there that are saying that the RFID CHIP can't be the MOTB, right? They are saying that, all this time that the men of the Lord have been talking about this, that nothing has happened yet. Thousands of people have been implanted by it, nothing has happened yet. The whole world is slowly going cashless, but nothing has happened yet. It's cool. You can know what I'm talking about. This June, right? The whole world is slowly moving towards this direction, but nothing has happened yet. But that's how it is when you're not, when the spirit isn't really dealing with you. But anyway, that's beside the point. The point here being this, that this is just not even, I won't say the first step, but this is just the stepping towards this right here. Eventually, are going to see more of implanting with this RFID technology. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, right? Because you see people come out and say, "Oh, that's what these GMS dudes have been saying for the past few years. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen." Well, as it, well, is tomorrow not coming, right? Because really, when you say something is going to happen until tomorrow, until the future stops coming, it's still going to happen, right? That's why the scriptures say in the book of Habakkuk, the second chapter, the vision is for an appointed time. Okay, you can't sit here and be like, well, it hasn't happened yet, so it's never going to happen, because the scripture doesn't outwardly say, right, it's not going to happen. It says it will happen, so it will happen. Habakkuk 2 verse 1, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. That's right, And it might look like, oh, it's taking a lot of time right now, but when it actually happens, people will be like, people will be scrambling like it just came out of nowhere, you know, because that's how prophecy works. It comes, when it comes, it feels like, when it's coming, it feels like it's taking a hell of a long time, but when it actually comes, it feels like it came too early. And that's the beauty of prophecy right there. Well, yeah, so with that, let me just end the video right here. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Basham Yahushai, Basham Rachakwadash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit of Yakim, and your cause were edified. Shalom.